Everyone, my name is Kiki and I am here with DiLive. And today we are going to be talking all about abundance, all about money.
Yay.
Something that I absolutely love, and I don't know if that's a bad thing. Should I love it? Should I not love it? We are going to talk about just that. I'm so excited to be launching this little webinar series. I'm playing around with this. I met Di not too long ago, and Di is a certified consultant in the Proctor Gallagher Institute, which I had not previously heard of. She's a certified consultant in that material, and she's essentially a success coach. And the more I investigated about what she does and really what she stands for, the more that I realized, oh my goodness, this woman is so juicy. So she is the founder of the Thinking into Results program, and it's essentially a systematic way to help people get wherever it is they really want to do or have or be. Would that be a correct?
Yes, I'm not the founder, but I am. So Bob Proctor and Sandy Gallagher from the Proctor Gallagher Institute actually developed the program, and I'm trained in facilitating it to clients. And
So
I choose to do that in my business.
It's all done.
Basically. And I choose to do that because it's the best program ever to help people get where they want to go. Totally.
Amazing. And your program is it's a 12-month program filled with different modules to really, from my understanding, help you get where you want to be from both a personal development and also business development point of view. And the topic that we're going to be talking about today, it's going to be about a half an hour interview, and it's really selfishly a topic that I really want to talk about, which is abundance and really creating a positive relationship with money. Just to give you guys some context, for those of you who follow me, you might know that recently I have become a full-time entrepreneur, which means sometimes I have money and sometimes I don't, and it's a little bit sporadic and it's a little bit crazy and it's risky. And I've really just lately been struggling with, okay, I definitely want money. What is the systematic way to go about actually producing it in a way that aligns with me and a way that makes me feel happy? So I will jump into the questions. If any of you guys have questions as you're watching, we are technically live, so you could comment and type in your questions that way, and we might leave a little bit of room at the end for questions as well. So thank you so much, Di, for doing this as well.
Pleasure.
Alrighty. Is there a sort of a beginner's mindset to go about how to actually build a positive relationship with money?
There absolutely is. And I'm glad you used the word mindset, because that is where it all starts, Kiki. It really has to be a decision on your behalf to say, you know what, I want to have a good relationship with money. Okay, you've got to actually decide that. Otherwise, none of this. It doesn't matter how much you learn about money, how much money you even have, you're not going to have a good relationship with it if you don't make up your mind that that's what you want to do. And in doing that, part of that is basically seeing yourself, an image of yourself with lots of money or the amount of money that you want. So you've got to start seeing yourself with that. And I guess the other thing when we're talking about a relationship, if you think about a relationship with anything, anybody, it's always better. That relationship's always healthier when you know a little bit about the other party, right? So if we're talking about a relationship with money, we need to understand what money is and what it's not. So it really is just a tool, and it's going to magnify who you already are. Okay, some people think if they have lots of money, they're going to change and become something very different. Well, no, it's just going to magnify what you are, and it's going to enable you to create and really do more with the good that you're already producing. Okay, so it is a bit of a magnifier. And I guess under that same question, what do we do to have a good relationship with money? The first step is to realize we live in such an abundant universe. Okay, there is no lack or limitation, only that which we decide in our own mind that there is. So mindset is definitely what it's about. The universe is governed by law, and as you give freely, you'll receive. Most of us have it around the wrong way. We're looking to get, and then we think, when I've got this, I'll give. But if you start giving of service and of your money and your time, and really following that law, then you'll definitely be receiving. You won't need to worry about that.
I think that when I hear you say that, automatically I think, oh, but I can't just be giving because there's only so many hours in the day. And if I'm giving at all of those hours, and I'm, because it's, to be honest, is what I've been doing in this past little while, I feel like I'm trying to provide value. But at the same time, I'm sort of beating myself up around, okay, well, it's not income generating right now, or like there isn't a strategy. Like I need to go into my givingness with some sort of framework of, okay, well, how is it actually going to end up with money, rather than just frivolously adding value. So what would you say to that? To sort of
yes, you know, it's interesting because when we're looking at manifesting the abundance, you know, a lot of people, we do tend to have a more like a greed mentality. I don't mean that in a nasty way, but we're like, yeah, I've got to gather this stuff. And we're very emotionally involved in the idea that we don't have the money that we're seeking. Now, when you're looking at thinking and the law of attraction, a lot of people think you just think about it and it will come. But what we need to understand is it's more about how you're feeling around what you want. So when I say to you, you've got to go into your mind and create a picture of seeing yourself with the money that you want. For you, Kiki, I'd say sit down and really have a look at what does your business look like when you do have the money rolling in and you are providing the service and you're getting paid to provide the service. What does that look like? So you actually have to take your mind onto a different frequency, because where you are right now, you're not seeing that reality. So you have to go and imagine it. And that's what we have the intellectual faculties for. Imagination will hold that picture with your will on the screen of your mind. And it doesn't mean you ignore where you are right now. Of course, you're aware that you don't have the abundance that you know is coming, but emotionally, you need to live in that place more than focusing on what is your reality right now, because that's the way the law of attraction works. You're going to set up a vibration. For example, if you open your mail today and you've got a bill and you think, oh, I don't have the money, you're very aware. And in fact, I've had times where you can feel the nerves, right, to the tip of your fingers fraying because you're scared. Now, that sets up a vibe and that attracts more of the same to you. It's the feeling, okay, that goes out from you. So if you can open your bills, have a look at them and think, yep, I must be going to get some money soon, and you keep providing the service. You don't just sit on your bed and think, well, you know, I need the money. You go out and you provide service. You know, there's a law around earning income, and that is that your income will be directly proportional to the need for what you do, your ability to do it, and the difficulty in replacing you. So really, when you look at those three things, there is a need for what you're doing. The difficulty in replacing you is going to come from the fact that you're so good at what you do. Now, all of us have something in us that we really want to do. Most people I speak to all day, every day say, oh, but I can't make money doing that. Well, you know what? You can, but you need to just give over to that and really start picturing what is that I want to do, and the way will be made clear to you. Okay, you can start serving where you are with what you've got, and things will start to open up. The universe will conspire on your behalf and send everything you need. But it does do it in relation to the way you're seeing it. And that's why I say you must go into that place in your mind and really get a clear vision of what you see it to be. Okay, and I say to my clients, you must write it down. You've really got to get the detail. You know, I had a lady the other day say to me, I've been working with her for a few months, and she was a bit frustrated. The results weren't happening. And when we did the exercise again and said, what's the vision you have? She realized she really didn't have the detail down. And you can't feel it if you can't see it. Okay. Too often we're seeing the reality of what is and getting emotionally involved in that.
Yeah, that was actually going to be my next question is what about, do you have any steps or advice or guidance in terms of actually how to build out that vision if you don't, because even just the thought of thinking about what my business will look like when I have money and all of these things, those can be really daunting thoughts to
Yes.
think about, and to even, where do I even start? Because automatically I get into that mindset of, okay, well, what does make money? And like, how do I plot myself into that sort of thing? Rather
Yes.
than what I'm hearing you say is kind of like, work from what you're good at, what you know, what you love, and then try to flourish on that. But it's like, it still sometimes feels like there's such a disconnect.
Yes, and it's interesting because the course you spoke about that I take people through, the second lesson, so the first lesson is picturing what we want, getting in touch with, like you said, what is it I love to do? Because you're going to feel good doing what you love to do and you're good at it. So there's no struggle there. But the struggle is we don't know how. We can't see how we're going to make the money doing what we love. And that's exactly where most people let their dreams die, because they feel it and they can sort of imagine it, but they can't see the how. It's such a quantum leap from where they are. And that's exactly where it stops for them. So the exercise is getting rid of the paradigms, the collection of habits that you have in your subconscious mind that's controlling what you do. So just a quick overview of the 12 months I take people through is that in your conscious mind, you can think and you can dream and you can make plans. And then when you get emotionally involved with anything that you're thinking, with repetition, it starts to plant it in your subconscious mind. Now, what you need to know is that any action you're taking is going to come from that, your subconscious mind. Okay, there's no power to act in your conscious mind. It has to be something that's planted in your emotional mind, your subconscious mind, before you will act on it. Okay, now the other thing that lives in your subconscious mind, apart from things you're planting in there with emotion, is your paradigm, your already existing habits and programming that you didn't even put there. Okay, that was there from the time you were born and developed as you lived in the environment you lived in. Most of us have never gone back and had a look at, well, what is my programming? And it's only when you start to step out towards something that you really want, or you're really not happy with the results that you're getting, that people start to question, well, how do my results happen? Why is this happening? It's not what I want. So you want something, but you're not getting it, and it's due to the programming. And that's why I work with people 12 months and onwards, because it doesn't change overnight, but it can change very quickly when you understand the lawful process involved.
Yeah. Is there a tip that you can give to help people tap into that? Like, how do you even go about, because if I understand correctly, it's about finding what's holding you back in your subconscious. It's about finding what's sort of restricting you, or what's kind of the subconscious voice in your head that's saying, no, actually don't do that you don't even know is telling you, no, don't do it, but is stopping you from doing it.
Yeah.
So how, and obviously it's a longer process and a more involved process, but is there any tips in terms of how to actually start listening to your subconscious? Like, is that even
Absolutely.
possible?
Absolutely. No, if I asked all of you on the call today to write down what it is you really want, even that exercise, you would start to think, well, I would like this, but then you'd start to think about how, oh, can I have that? You start to doubt immediately. Now, if I was to say to you, imagine you have a magic wand. This is a good way to get in touch with what you want. Imagine you've got a magic wand and time and money, and there's no obstacle in your way. What would you want your life to look like? And that's the exercise I usually start with. Just leave everything beside. Be like a child. Don't even bring into anything of how. Just say, what do I really want my life to look like? And when you go there, what you're doing is tapping into that inner being, right, inside of you, and your imagination. You let it just run wild, and do not answer the question of how. That's not your business. In fact, that's never our business. Okay? The infinite source, which is actually your infinite mind, which is your subconscious mind, when you tap into that and plant in there what you want, the universal process takes over. I always say to people, it's a bit like this. It's a bit like if you and I, Kiki, went to the tallest building we could find and we decided we were going to climb the stairs to the rooftop. Now, then we'd stand on the edge and we'd say, do we want to step off? Now, that's our decision, and we make that decision in our conscious mind. Now, neither of us are keen to do that, clearly. Why not? Because we know once we step off, that's where our conscious part is over and the lawful process is going to take over, okay? Doesn't matter if we're the Pope, the Queen of England, it doesn't matter who we are. That lawful process is going to be the same for everybody, every time. It's the same with attracting to you what you want, whether it's money, whether it's a relationship. It's not just money. And like, you know, we're talking about money today, but it's the same process. Start to see your life as you want it to be. And the first step is to start writing. And as you're writing, you will meet your paradigm around what's holding you back. Because you'll hear the voices saying, well, who do you think you are to do that? As if you can do that. And it's, you know, self-image is very involved with our money mentality, our money mindset. So, but yes, if I was to give you tips, the first tips I'd say is get relaxed. Get relaxed and really go and dream about what you want. A good way to start that is to start with gratitude, okay? Because when we become grateful for what we have and grateful for what we know is coming, then you really open your mind up to the infinite source, okay? So that's a good place to start. The other things, I guess, tips I'd give in your current reality is if you've got debt to pay down, if you're living on quite a small wage, yes, do a budget, set up a repayment plan for your debt so that you don't have to continually focus on how am I going to live in this small, you know, financial world that I'm in. Because the less you focus on that and the more you focus on the picture of where you want to be, and you view that as now, live in the feeling of that now, the more you will see your physical world around you start to change. And it's very difficult in half an hour, in a sense, to give you the whole overview, but you're probably hearing a bit of a theme.
No, yeah. And two things have come up actually that I wanted to discuss with you. So you're mentioning about the law of attraction, and that what you're suggesting is going even above that, because the law of attraction is more about thinking. So it's not about just thinking about all the money that you want or the abundance, but it's actually about tapping into the feelings of how I will feel when I have that money. And then that brings me to, I was actually having a conversation with someone yesterday that was talking about, because I was trying to explain to him that, like, no, it's all just a matter of thinking it and, you know, bring it in. But then he said, well, that's sort of a negative way, because that can be depressing, because then it's sort of like you're at fault for where you are. And it's like, if there is a universal law and it simply means that you're not following it, then isn't that sort of depressing to be like, oh, well, where you are right now is simply because of the choices that you've made. And like the fact that you're not making money right now is your fault, kind of thing. So what's your perspective on that? Because I was like, oh, that's sort of a dark way of looking at it. I was looking at it as, oh, well, like anything is possible and there's a new moment right now. And so it's fine because we can just start it again, like right now, and there's a new moment. But I mean, I'm sure you've gotten that with clients where it's like, oh, it's a little bit, it's like kind of, it's insulting that you're saying that if there's a law and I'm just simply not following it.
You know what I love is that it demonstrates precisely that there is a law that works the same all the time. And so in this young man's instance, you can say to somebody, the results you're seeing in your life right now are a result of, so it's a cause and effect. That's a universal law. The effect you're seeing is your thinking was the cause, okay? Your thinking, but let's define thinking. There's thinking in your conscious mind where you build the picture, but then there's the emotion around that. Now, lots of us can picture that we want a lot of money, but if we're honest, we can't actually picture ourselves having a lot of money and feel good about that, if we're honest, okay? There's a reason that when people win the lottery, within a very short space of time, they've lost all of that money because they're not comfortable with it, okay? So the self-image you have about your abundance that you want needs to be in alignment with, what you see for yourself. But it does demonstrate that the law of attraction, which is a secondary law, So the law of attraction is about attracting what you're on the same frequency as, but the primary law of that process is the law of vibration. Now, when we talk about vibration, we're all vibrating at a different rate, and you can feel that. If you go into a workplace and you've got a co-worker that's upset with you, you can feel that before they even say anything. And you can feel when someone's really excited before they say anything, because we express how we're feeling through the vibration. And in fact, feeling, that word feeling, is just a word we use to describe our conscious awareness of the vibration we're in. So when we say I'm feeling happy, we're in a certain vibration. And so around money and the success that we seek, when we see that we're not getting the results we want, all we know is that's a result of what we've been thinking in the past. And like you correctly said, every moment we can say, well, that is done. I can affect now and the future. And you can start thinking afresh, okay? And start saying, this is what I see for myself, getting emotionally involved in that. Because people that don't have success, and it's varying levels of this, it's because they're not emotionally involved in what they want. I always say to people that the book Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, fantastic book. And as you'll see, a lot of my courses are based on that. There's 4 things. You can sum up that whole book in 4 things on how to get what you want. The first one is desire. Okay, you must have a strong desire. So when I speak to a lot of people, they're saying, yeah, look, I really want this, but they're not actually even prepared to find the money to study for 12 months to get what they want. They're not prepared to feel a bit uncomfortable to go after what they want. So they don't really have a desire. If you have a strong desire, the facts, your reality, nothing matters. You will find the money, you'll find the time, you'll do whatever it takes if you have a really strong desire. So that's step number 1. Check, what do you really, really want? Step number 2 is you need to have faith. Now, I don't mean faith in a religious way. I mean, understand how the law works, the law of thinking works. And when you understand that, you can have faith that, yes, this result is going to come. Okay? And then you've got to make a plan. And when I say that to people, they often think, well, how can I make a plan when I don't know how? You've just told me I don't need to worry about the how. Yeah. But the plan is going to come from, you're living in alignment with who you are. You're seeing this vision of what you want and you're feeling it. And source is going to unfold the road before you. You'll get intuitive thoughts about to do this or that. Something will come across your path and you'll take that opportunity. So it'll be very much a flow process, and you will have plans that roll out, from where you are right now. And then you walk down that road and then you see a bit further and you make more of a plan from there. So that's how it rolls out. And then the last one is persistence. And basically, when I say to people about persistence, they think, yeah, you know what, I am persistent. I'm hammering away at this. I'm doing it. I don't mean that sort of persistence. The persistence we need to have is holding the vision of what we want. That is where we need to persist. And that's the hardest work of all. Most of us humans, we're very good at doing. We love to go out and do and figure it out and do and do and do. But when I say to people, actually just sit for 5 minutes in the beginning of your day, at the end of your day, and visualize and feel yourself living in that reality that you want. They find that difficult. But that's the work. That's our work.
Yeah. Oh my God, amazing. And you know what, we only have a few more minutes, but there's something that I think is a good way to kind of wrap this up, because I know what people will be thinking. And I won't lie, it's even crossed my mind. Okay, how do you really invest in things when you literally don't have money? Like, I see all of these different programs, and whether it's coaching or studying or all these things, all these different avenues that I could go down, and I understand how important personal development is and self-development is, probably more than the average person. But then I get stuck with it's almost frustrating, because it's like, no, but I actually don't have money. So stop saying you invest in yourself, and no, but the return on an investment is going to be worth it. It's like, but if I don't have money in my bank account, how is that possible? So what do you say to people like that?
And my answer to that, and I agree with you, this is a difficult one to get our head around, and it's only by doing it that you experience it. And so what I say to people is, number one, what I started with is you need to decide, okay? You need to decide this is what I'm doing, and you need to make a committed decision to that. And when I say that to people, it's like, okay, if you don't have the money there, I want you to go away, and even some people, I say to them, give me whatever you've got to get going. Let's make a committed decision, and you say, this is what I'm going to do. And in every circumstance where they've done that, something has happened. Like one guy had his grandmother, who he didn't even know, really hadn't grown up in touch with her, contact him in the week following and say, I've got this inheritance that I'm giving you. He was more surprised than anybody, you know. So that's one extreme example. Another lady just said to me, oh, actually, I've got this money that I'd put away, and I'm going to tap into that and do that. So you will get an awareness, but only when you decide. Okay, there has to be a flip of your thinking, because while you're sitting there saying, I haven't got it, that's what you're emotionally involved with. And do you know how much longer have we got? Not long. But I give people an example. I do a seminar, and I've got a $100 note, and I show them all, and it's real. It's a real $100 note. And I say, imagine what you could do with the $100 that you had in your wallet today that wasn't budgeted for anything else. What would you do? Come up with something like a massage or a facial, or buy yourself a pair of shoes, whatever it is. And they all get involved in that. And I say, do you really want to do that? And they're like, oh, that'd be great. So then when I say to them, well, there's the money, and I put it in the middle of the room, and I say, who's going to take the money? There it is. None of them move. None of them want to come and get it. And I did it one day to the point where nobody would come and get the money. And eventually one girl who was unemployed got out of her seat, and she was shaking physically. And she came and took the money. And then even then she gave it back to me and said, here you go, I did it. I said, no, it's actually your money. Now, when we spoke about it, the thoughts that people were having around it was, well, I haven't worked for that money. Someone needs it more than I do. I don't deserve it. I want to give it away. So what I said to them was, what that demonstrates is that that's what your paradigm is. And you're walking through life with a lot of opportunities that are right there for the taking, but you are thinking just like you are now in this room. It's not mine. I haven't done the work. I don't deserve it. And so the opportunity is there. If you have a desire, then the way will be made known to you when you decide to go after it. But you have to decide, okay? You have to have that feeling that I'm doing it, and then the way will be shown. That's the faith part.
Oh, amazing. Oh my goodness. This has been a really, really powerful discussion. I had high hopes for this conversation, and it's been really inspiring for me. So thank you. I know that you've given value to me and hopefully to those watching. So thank you so much. I think we'll even perhaps do another webinar on this topic, because it is quite a big one.
Absolutely. A Q&A would be a great idea if people have questions. They'll start to see a bit of a common theme, and that is to visualize what you want and really get emotionally involved in it.
Exactly. So let's just do a quick takeaway for myself and everyone else watching. So would you suggest then tonight, before I go to bed, you're in Australia, but here it's nighttime in Canada, to take 5 minutes and just visualize what it is that I want, to be doing, and how I'm going to be making that money, but not get focused on the how, just focus in on the.
A better way to say it is, this is what I want, and this is what I'm prepared to give to get it. Okay. So you're going to tap into, I just want you to first sit there and think, what do I love to do? Okay. That's what I did when I got into what I'm doing now. And to be honest, I would do it for no money. But of course, we're all making a living, and money is going to magnify what we're doing, which is great when you're doing your definite purpose in life. So I want people to just sit whenever they can and think, what do I really want? That's a very powerful exercise. And when you start writing it out as if you're writing a script of it happening, it's very powerful. It's going to start to take root in your subconscious mind if you do that every day. Yeah.
Amazing. Thank you so much. I am going to do it tonight. And I'll share my journey with it on Instagram and also on Facebook. And I really encourage everyone else who's watching and who tunes in later on to do the same and to also share with me. And we will be talking again, not this Sunday, but the following Sunday. So as I mentioned, we're going to be doing these every 2 weeks on a Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern time. Really looking forward to it. Thank you so much again. This has been great.
Wonderful. Great to be with you. Thank you, Kiki.
Super nice. Bye.
Okay, bye.